We recognize the need for an interest in social media from the apartment industry's point of view, and are in a unique position to ask residents and prospects as well what their thoughts on social media were, and basically wanted to get some trending information, and started in January asking residents at 451 properties across the country what they thought about social media, and were fairly surprised at sort of how low of a priority that it seems to be at this point. Only 7% of residents that we surveyed have ever visited a community's social networking site, and the trend did not seem to increase. So we went to social networking experts and said, this number seems to be fairly low. And what they asked us to do is just to take a look at the active properties that that are using social networking sites and updating them on a regular basis. What we found is the number went from 7 to 13%. So still a fairly low priority, it seems to be, and we couldn't tell you what's going on a year ago. That number was 3%, has now jumped to 13%. But what we decided to do is take a look and see what might the future be bringing. And so did a second survey of with our student housing clients, asked them the exact same questions, and found that students seem to be not only more active, but have visited an apartment rating site. 40% responded that they had visited a social networking site. So we see this number jumping from 7% overall to 13% on active properties to 40% at student housing. What we then followed up and asked the question, how important is it to you? And the conventional residents said that it was on a 10 to 0 scale, about in the low 4s, 4.5, and went back to the students and said to them, how important is the apartment social networking site to you? And even though there's a lot of more activity and more students have actually gone into an apartment social networking site, we found that that there was not really a significant increase in how they rated the importance of the site. In fact, that number was 4.72. So there's some indifference there in regards to importance. There's a lot more activity, and I think in these numbers we're seeing that there's a lot of opportunity. The opportunity is that students, younger generational, there's a generational change. They are going to start to check the sites out. If the sites are not engaging them, it's not going to be important to them, and so there's an opportunity for the apartment industry to react to it. The other thing that we caution in regards to getting involved, though, is to watch sort of what the tipping point's going to be. At 13%, is it going to be 26% in a year from now? Is it going to be 14% a year from now? Those kind of questions with ongoing research will enable us to be able to provide that kind of information to the industry.